This is Red, my unbacked 4-year-old who was bred out of our amazing Ramiro B mare, Diamond. Red has exceptional breeding for eventing, with his dad being 5-star event stallion Le Prince de Bois. He has spent his first 4 years of life out in the field, playing with his peers, which means he is totally unspoilt and now ready to start working life. We are on a journey taking Red right from the start to hopefully his first event. Okay, so I've got some Teddy footage on my laptop that I'm going to send you to look at now, and then we'll catch up in a minute.
Boo.
I like Red. Oh, look at Teddy in his beautiful summer coat. So just wait till you see him in present day. He's gone so fluffy. I hadn't really realised how fluffy he'd got, how quickly, until I watched this. So these clips are taken from the start of September. And you may remember that in July I had quite an accident where Maggie and I hit the deck and I smashed up my face, and I also very badly sprained my ankle. So I used that as an opportunity to edit the other Red videos, but I wasn't working him at the time because I couldn't run around to do any long lining. I couldn't take a leg up. I couldn't do any of that. So he actually ended up having a break while I recovered, and these clips are taken sort of when I was just starting to get him back going. I think this was his very first lunge back, so obviously I didn't bother putting any tack on or anything. I was just lunging him in the dually halter just to check what he had remembered off of before his holiday, and he was going very sweetly and a lot more clued up than he was the first time I lunged him. I love when they reach their nose down to the ground like this. I think it's so good for them to work over their back, and it's lovely to see him voluntarily doing this without any proper training. So yeah, I just worked him in, walk, trot, canter. I like to get them cantering on the lunge and get their balance fairly good from the groundwork before you start trying to introduce a rider into the situation. I know a lot of people prefer to do their first canter out in the open, out hacking and the like, so they're probably not as bothered about cantering them on the lunge, but I prefer to do it in an arena if I can, because it just means that I get the opportunity to be able to try and stop them if they go a little bit too quick. So on to a fresh day, and obviously I'm back just checking how he is with the long lining. What I found was he had not forgotten a thing. The holiday had actually probably done him quite a bit of good. So I'm thinking, I had the accident in July and I got on him. I sat on him for the very first time the day before I had my accident. So that means that going to September, he had the whole of August off, probably had 6 weeks off. And I don't think it did him any harm whatsoever. You can see he's remembered all his steering. He's quite happy with the tack. Nothing's phasing him because nothing seems terribly new. And he's just quite happy to be back doing something interesting again. So I just built him up. And then after that, it was time to get back to sitting on him. I don't think I got any clips of sitting on him in the stable again, because I was a bit like, well, you've seen all of this before and there's no point boring you with the same stuff over and over again. I'll just show you this clip. His canter got so much more established as well. Like, we're just breaking that, but he's actually managing to hold it. Whereas when we first got him, he couldn't really hold it. He really struggled, and it's a typical baby thing, especially one that's got such great long legs as Red has got. It's quite hard work for them to be able to coordinate themselves and keep going. And that's why I see it's important to do it from the ground before you stick a rider on board, because otherwise they've then got to effectively be giving me a piggyback and balance and do all of that. Look at those paces. Trot is very established, so that's why I quite like doing it from the ground, from the get-go. Make sure that I do everything both ways, and then I think after this we go to the indoor as well, ready for his first ever sit-on in an arena. Gosh, this indoor barn is perfectly on cue for Halloween in the evening, isn't it? It's not the most glamorous space, but I have been so grateful for it, because actually it's a really brilliant space that's not too big for the babies, but big enough that you're actually in an open space to get going. Where I was based before was quite open and quite bleak, so I always thought that would be quite tricky if you were backing something from scratch in there, whereas this indoor has just really been a good safe space to be working in. Obviously Teddy had to go to being mounted in the stable initially, because even that space was a bit too large, and he had quite a flight response where he was sort of running because he was a little bit frightened. So we took him to the stable and built up from there, where he got confident. And since bringing him back into work, I have been on him in the stable. I just hadn't filmed it, but been on him, been lunging him and the likes, and not lunging him, been walking circles in the stable. Wouldn't it be glamorous to have a stable that large that you could lunge in? But no, walking circles in the stable, made sure that he was really, really confident before we came back to having sort of try number 2 in the arena, because originally I bellied up in there and he was just not terribly confident, and he was scooting away a little bit. So it made sense just to go do the work in the stable, then come back to the indoor. And as you can see, he's so much more confident, so much more solid. I can pat him all over while I'm bellied over. And yes, of course, in the stable, I'm already on him. I'm able to walk circles on him. But because we've changed the space, we went back a few steps. We went back to bellying over. And then we're going to walk a circle soon with me leant over him while he's getting used to my weight, just while we're in this different space. So we sort of just have the same steps as we go through, regardless of where we are, and we just build up from it. And you can just see he's so much more confident. He's got one ear on me, one ear forward, and life is so much better. So we're just being really careful, making sure he's comfortable with patting from the other side. I'm not going to belly up from both sides now that I've been on him in the stable, because he's not taken adversely at all to that, so there's no need to. And I was just making sure he's okay with stuff moving. And looking at this, I was doing quite well clinging on, because I didn't quite have my hips over as far as I normally would have. But yeah, he's a happy boy. And then we're able to go from there to then build up to the next step, which was to prepare for swinging on. So what you can see I'm doing there is I'm just checking that he's okay with me a little bit higher above me by sitting up. And then at this point, it's time to swing on. I just did this very slowly, because even though he's been good about it in his stable, having the extra space is a good opportunity for him, if he had a little bit of worry, to sort of scoot forwards with that flight response. And I was very aware that that might come through. But actually, look at this. He's perfectly confident and happy. He's going, yeah, it's okay. We've done this before now, and I get it. And that's fine. My biggest thing is that obviously stuff does happen, but I don't want to scare him if I can avoid it, because he's a very quick learner, as you can see, and you can probably tell. I don't have to do things that many times before he goes, yep, I've learnt that, which is fantastic. But I do not want him to get to a stage where he's learned that something's scary or whatever, because actually it just hinders progress and means that we'd have to take a lot of steps back. So I'd prefer to have him really confident from the start and be a little bit more cautious and do stuff over and over again and add in extra steps, then hurry on forwards and risk scaring him, because he's too nice to scare. He's so absolutely gorgeous, and you can see now he's just stood rock solid. And I do think if I'd started trying to do all of this in the indoor without adding in the step of taking him to the stable, we'd have risked having a bit of a scare for both of us, and it just wouldn't have been too pleasant. Whereas you can see he's just so happy, ears pricked and confident, which is absolutely fantastic. I've got some reins on there just in case I need to ask him to slow down, but I have no intention of using them at this stage. What I don't have clips of is I was also long lining him out and about around the farm, obviously to get him a bit bolder and a bit more interested in life. And I also long lined him in the field because I thought it's just good to practice out in these open spaces. It's what he's going to be doing long term, so it's good to start as we mean to go on. What I did notice was that I was long lining him one time and he just had a bit of an adverse response when I asked him to change the rein, and he really legged it off on the lines, and it didn't seem normal for him. It didn't seem what I was expecting. So I booked him in for a dentist appointment with my wonderful dentist, Amy, because I just thought, I wonder if something's just caught him on the bit. And obviously baby mouths can change so fast. He's changing his teeth from baby teeth to grown-up teeth. And obviously there's the chance of wolf teeth coming through as well. We'd had him checked at his vetting and he was all clear, but it's that next step, isn't it? It's been quite a while since I got him in May. So Amy was booked for the day after this, just to ensure that everything was in line and all right, and if we needed any work doing, then we could get that sorted. Just because that day when I long lined him, it was just something that I looked at him and I thought, I just want you to get you checked out, to check everything is okay. But anyway, back to the video that's actually going on as I'm yapping along. Look how relaxed he is and what a good boy he is. So then we just went on to walking a circle. So this is effectively all that we were doing in the stable, but we're just doing it in a bigger space. And he was just so cool about the situation. I must say, to be sat on, he feels really solid, but obviously he's being backed quite a bit later than other horses might be backed. Obviously, it's quite traditional to start them at 3 years old. But I do think that is hugely beneficial waiting till a little bit later for doing it with a 4-year-old. They're so much more developed and able to carry a rider. And they're also a bit better at processing everything in their brains because they're a little bit older. So yeah, I didn't have any qualms about taking him on as a 4-year-old, especially being such a big boy. He needed a bit more time to let his body develop. But now he's about 4.5 years old, which means he's plenty ready to be cracking on. And when I'm sat on him, he doesn't feel like the wibbly wobbly weak baby that you would usually be used to backing. He feels quite strong and solid and quite sturdy, actually. So really excited for the next bits. Anyway, that was it. That was him done. I was so proud of him. I'd felt that this was quite a big hurdle to be getting over, to be getting on him in the arena properly. We were both delighted. What a good boy. What a good session to be able to do that without him getting any nerves or anything, and really happy with the results. So as previously mentioned, the day after this I had Amy, my brilliant horse dentist, booked in to come and check his teeth, just to check everything was okay, and he was such a good boy about everything. He was fantastic. But what we did find is he did have some wolf teeth that had recently come through, so they needed removing, otherwise they interfere with the bit and they're not very comfortable, which would explain that day when he shot away on the lines. So I got him immediately booked in for the vets, and on knowing that he had his wolf teeth through, I was like, right, let's not do anything else with his bit in, let's just give him another break, because he's now backed in the indoor. So he was at a good stage to say I'd probably only done a week's work with him. I thought that's a good stopping stage. Let's get these wolf teeth out and we'll go from there. So then he had his wolf teeth out, and then he was going to need, I think it was like a week off with no bit in his mouth, obviously, to let the holes heal up, bless him. But that then took us pretty much to the start of Osberton week, and I said to Mum, there's no point like starting him just before Osberton and then me going away for a week to compete and then starting him again. So he just had the extra time off until I got home from Osberton, and that now brings us to nearly present day, where he is super fluffy, and I I did a day's lunging, then I long lined him again, and then I hopped on him in the stable, and then we're at this point where he's on the lunge, being a really amazing, relaxed boy. And all I can say is, yes, I've taken it very slowly, and no, you wouldn't be able to do this at a commercial rate because it would just cost way too much money having your horse away for that length of time. And I know it doesn't work like that if it's like paid for, but I've really enjoyed being able to take him at his own steady pace, because actually it's reaped the rewards. He's had this 6-week holiday because he was a little bit sharp when I first started him because everything was so new and so strange and a little bit worrying, and we've given him that education. He's had 6 weeks off. I've then done another bit of sitting on him. He's then had a bit more time off to process and the likes, and now we're back at this stage, and I think it's really going to catapult his training forwards because now he feels so solid and confident. It's really, really wonderful to experience. Boy. Does it feel terribly wiggly? Good boy.
Well, he won't because he's an older boy, isn't he?
4.5. He's nearly a grown up.
Yeah.
Feels like time is going faster than it seems. We were just 2 kids who were trying to live the teenage dream. We could see no reason why we should ever try to go to sleep. Remember every weekend we stayed out late and then went home to me. I wish that I could live that dream again. 'Cause it was only you and me.
Day 2, back on board Reddy Teddy, and I remembered to pop my phone somewhere to film, so we're on, we're ready, we're going. He's confident on the lunge, although he's just spotted something out the corner of his eye, so he's having a bit of a look at what's going on. Nothing too troublesome though, because he's a good solid boy and he's just stopped and having a listen and a look, and then we're carrying on. I'm able to use my leg aids to ask him to walk on, and I'm just there with my fingers, giving him a little scratch down his neck. Now, this day, the plan was, all being well, if he was as good as he was last time on the lunge, I wanted to give him a trot. So we built up, we did lots of walking, making sure he's comfortable walking on the lunge, and then doing walk-halt transitions. He knows exactly where the gate is, so he quite likes stopping near the gate, which Mum and I decided that we'd use that to our advantage. When we asked him to trot on, we'd trot sort of with half a circle to go before the gate, because I thought that would be like a natural stopping point if he got a little bit concerned. And then obviously, other than that, I'm making sure that he keeps going past the gate so that we don't develop any nappy tendencies. You can see him just slowing down, like, the gate's there, guys, and I'm like, no, you just keep going, honey. And if I ask him to do a halt, we do it before, like, in a region that's not near to the gate. So the first trot, I was also building him up with doing some rising walk as such. I'll try and leave it clipped in somewhere so you guys can see it, but basically as he's walking, I had to go at rising because I just knew that with his big trot I didn't have a hope of attempting to sit to it. And I thought that actually, if anything, if I tried to do some sitting trot and I was a bit bouncy, it would probably unnerve him more than if I was just rising. You can see it's during the day, there's a lot more going on. I think at that point there was some horses riding by, but he was such a good boy because he just had a look and then he just carried on. So before we did any trotting, of course, we did everything on both reins, and he's even resting a leg now when he stops. Oh, and there we go, there's my rising. So I did a little bit stood still, and then I built up to doing it while he was walking. He really wasn't bothered. So we just built up, and then let's show you the trot.
Growing up, said we'd be young forever. You taught me how to love, and nothing could be better than you and me, baby, it was you and me. We could never fall, and nobody could break us, yeah, I thought we had it all. Take me back to when it was you and me, baby, it was you and me. up, said we'd be young forever. You taught me how to love, and nothing could be better than you and me, baby, it was you and me. We could never fall, and nobody could break us, yeah, I thought we had it all. Take me back to when it was you and me, baby, it was you and me. It was only you and me back then. We were never growing up, said we'd be young forever. You taught me how to love, and nothing could be better than you and me, baby, it was you and me. We could never fall, and nobody could break us, yeah, I thought we had it all. Take me back to when it was you and me, baby, it was you and me. We were never growing up, said we'd be young forever. You taught me how to love, and nothing could be better than you and me, baby, it was you and me. We could never fall, and nobody could break us, yeah, I thought we had it all. Take me back to when it was you and me, baby, it was you and me.
Back to present day now, and you can see he had a very successful introduction to trotting. What a clever boy. I was able to stop and start on my own. He's just really taken it in his stride. So this was me tacking him up. You can see how easy everything is now. He's not worried about the rug. He's not worried about the saddle. He's not worried about the bridle. Easy to pick his feet out. Everything's just easy to do. Now, obviously, the clocks have changed, so we're ending up in the dark a lot because I do work full time, so can't always do during the day for the riding if it doesn't fit in with the schedule. And I also need mum's help, and she also works full time, so trying to sort of fit everything in is a challenge. So we thought we best get him going under the lights, and you can see he really isn't phased at all. So I'm not necessarily working him every day now. He doesn't need it. There was a stage where he did need everyday work, otherwise he seemed to go back 5 steps, but now he can have a day off and he doesn't forget anything. He finds it really easy. He loves going over poles. If he has an opportunity, he will go over them, which is a fantastic sign. I have popped him over a jump on the lunge, but I'll let you guys wait to see that in future. So yeah, it was nighttime. It was probably only like 5:30, but anyway, Mum had very kindly come over to help me work him, even though she's feeling really poorly. We're both coming down with a horrible bug, and she's had a fever in the works, but she's very kindly come to help me get him worked to keep the consistency going. And my thought was, this is the first time I'm going to get on him in the outdoor arena. So a bit like going from the stable to the indoor arena, I just had every intention of maybe even just only sitting on him, just see how he is, because there's horses in the fields outside the arenas, there's little woods, there's hedges, so there's a lot going on that he will be able to hear but can't see. But he was very steady, so I thought, right, let's hop on and see how he thinks to that. And to be fair, he didn't feel any different to the indoor, which I just thought shows what an amazing temperament he's got. He's just transferred everything that he's learned straight to the outdoor arena. And here I'm just discussing with Mum. I'm saying to her, do you have enough energy in you to give me another leg up, or do you want me to stay up here? Because personally I'd prefer to get off and then back on. I do that to give him a bit of a release and tell him he's good boy. It may seem over the top to be doing these steps so many times, but I personally just think all that it does is it creates a fantastic foundation. It's good for him to learn to stand still. It's good for him to be so relaxed that he's resting a leg while I'm having a leg up. It just all round, personally, I think is good. I want a horse that is solid and confident, and whether I end up keeping him or whether I end up selling him, I just think it stands him in the absolute best position to be that confident and that well educated. You can see I'm quite happy moving in the saddle more than I used to. And what we actually ended up doing this evening, because he was so cool about the situation, is we actually ended up doing what we did in the indoor. So I'm really excited for my next ride on him, because I think I'll be able just to head off loose, hopefully. I promise I'll film it. I'll get Mum to do filming duty, because once she's not got to be at the end of the lunge, she can get a bit more better footage for us. But yeah, he was just brilliant. We had one moment, which you'll see at some point when I'm on the right rein, where something moved in the woods and he tucked his bottom underneath him, had a bit of a spook, and I just asked him to stop and he did, like instantly. He was brilliant. So yeah, feeling really confident with him. He's feeling really confident with what he's learned, and I'm so very excited to see how we get on. Anyway, I'll let you have a bit of a watch of how it goes.
Hey, where have you been? I've been looking for you now and then. Someone just like you, who can make me feel the way you do. 'Cause if I'm the ocean, you're the rain. We only need each other, baby, you know we're the same. Let's run away. All I need is you, now and always. You and me. We don't need no one else than each other. You and me. We could run away. You and me together, baby, we don't gotta stay. Let's lose our minds. We could go crazy and leave it all behind. It could be glorious, 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 glorious. It could be glorious, 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 glorious. Say what you feel. I don't even know if this is real. How can you like me? You're as close to perfect as anyone can be. You and me. We don't need no one else than each other. You and me. We could run away. You and me together, baby, we don't gotta stay. We don't have to stay. Let's lose our minds. 'Cause if I'm the ocean, you're the rain. We only need each other, baby, you know we're the same. It could be glorious, 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 glorious. It could be glorious, 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 glorious.
Okay, and that is it. Some points to highlight. You may have noticed that I'm using my legs now. I'm trying to quietly but firmly use them. So I put my leg aid on, and when he does what I want him to do, I take it away. And the same with the rein aids, but actually he's been doing a lot of stop and starting just from my seat aids, which is amazing already, that I don't have to use my reins to slow him down, that he's that sensitive to the aids, which is fantastic. So being very clear with my riding with what I want from him. But yeah, he's picking it up so fast, and now that all the foundations are in place, I think that hopefully he should really fly on forwards. I'm so proud of him. I take that licking and chewing that he's doing as good processing. He looks relaxed, calm, happy, and yeah, overall we are just 100% thrilled with him, and I can't wait for these future ridden sessions. So thank you so much for watching. This is Red finally actually on to being ridden away. He's fully backed, and I'm so excited for the future. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you very soon.
We were never growing up, said we'd be young forever. You taught me how to love, and nothing could be better than you and me, baby, it was you and me.